Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk More Action Golf. Today's episode is a little different. I took the show on the road and recorded this conversation at a restaurant, so you might hear some background noise. I tried my best to isolate the conversation, but of course you will hear a little bit of music in the background, you'll hear forks and knives, you'll hear plates, you'll also hear, even though I have amazing table manners, but the food was so good, you may hear me struggling a little bit to talk because I was enjoying so much. But trust me, it's worth it. In this episode, I sat down with a golf starter who are considered the unsung hero of every course. So if you've ever teed off, chances are you've met one. But do you really understand what they do? From keeping tee time running smoothly to setting the tone for every golfer's round, starters plays a crucial role in the game. And we're diving into their world, the challenges they face, and even some of the funny moments they've encountered. And for that, I talked with my good friend Phil, who's a starter at Memorial Golf Club out here in Houston. But before I get into this episode, I want to encourage you to follow the show so you can never miss an episode whenever we're updating them. And we're bringing you real golf talk with real people, and you don't want to miss what's coming up next. So take a moment, follow the show. We'd appreciate a 5-star and a quick review if you really enjoy the show. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. Phil is a good dude. We've played together, and Phil is a kind of matter-of-fact kind of guy. You know, he gets straight to the point in a very polite way, kind way. But trust me, you don't want to cross him. And as a starter, yeah, you get to hear what he encounters on a day-to-day basis. So let's get into this episode. Grab your clubs, grab your headphones, whatever it is, however you want to do it. Let's get into it. I'll see you on the other side.
Marshall is me, the starter. When you pay for your round and get ready to start, I'm the one that sends you off on the first tee.
Okay.
But it's way different at Memorial than it is at Clear Creek because, you know, the guy just checks your receipt and writes it down.
Yeah.
So at Memorial, I have a table, I have a computer, and Memorial has a walk-up list. So let's say you wanted to play at Memorial, you didn't get a tee time.
Okay.
You can put your name on the walk-up list on the computer inside the clubhouse.
Clubhouse, okay.
And then I get to see that. So here's the funny thing about Memorial. The people to get on the walk-up list get there at 5:30 in the morning. The people don't get there until 6:30. So they're there an hour ahead of time just to put the name on the list.
Okay.
And oftentimes before I can get them on the course, it's like 2, 3, 4 hours. So they do that religiously. There's some people who are there every day or every Saturday at 5:30. So let's say that their tee times start at 7:30. Every 10 minutes, the tee times go off, right? So if I have a tee time and let's say it's you, Eric, and then someone else,
Okay.
Jason,
Yeah.
and you don't have a fourth, then I take someone from that walk-up list and put them with you. And so that's how that works. And so I'm constantly having to watch my tee sheet, the walk-up list, the box, because the box is maybe a good 100 yards away from where I'm at. And so that's what the starter does. So
Okay.
it's more than just checking your receipt and whatever. But between the starter and the marshal is the one that helps you mind the rules on the course. So make sure the pace of play is the way it's supposed to be. Make sure if it's cart path only that day, you're not off the cart path. Make sure that you're just being kind out there. That's what the marshal does.
So the marshal navigates the course.
Yes.
You are sort of like the entryway to the course. So what are some of the challenges that happens, or not challenges, let's just say this, like, are there times where your role kind of overlap?
Yes, you mean as far as starter and marshal?
Yes.
Not a whole lot. It
Okay.
doesn't overlap a whole lot, only in the sense that I marshal the number one tee box, and that's
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
That's about
Okay.
it. But what makes starting challenging is at Memorial. Remember the days we had cold weather, and if the temperature in the ground, I don't know how deep, maybe I don't know 6-8 inches deep, is still frozen, they won't let you play. They will not let you play. So I got a tee sheet that starts at 7:30, and there have been days where I had a 3-hour delay. So not until 10:30 am I able to get the first group on the tee box. And so that becomes cumbersome in the sense that people get mad, they get angry, I don't understand. But what I found out is for the course, since they play the open there, with the grass, if the root is frozen, if you step on that grass, it breaks it at the root. And so that affects the lushness and the greenness that you'll see during the open. That would mess that up. So they are really strict about if there's any frost or if the temperature's too low, it will not start.
So is there a meeting ahead of tee time, like ahead of the day, just to kind of like a huddle, get
Yes.
everyone to understand this is where we are? Mm-hmm. So what happens if, let's just say, you're booked for a full day?
Yes.
And what's considered, just so we make sure I ask the right question, what's considered a full day? From what time to what time?
7:30 right now till 4.
Okay.
And every 10 minutes.
So from 7:30, first tee time, 4, last tee time,
Right.
every 10 minutes. So
Yes.
if you're fully booked for that day,
Right.
and then there is a delay, let's just say a 2-hour delay,
Right.
then what happens to the folks whose tee time were, say, at 4 p.m.?
You may not get to play. Well, no, you'll get to start, but you won't get to finish. They'll still send you off. But I will say this about a delay. I've had a 3-hour delay, and I work from 7:30 to 12:30. I usually catch up by then, meaning that, I'll send people every 6 minutes, or I'll tell people as soon as that group in front of you is clear, tee off. And so instead of every 10 minutes, it might be every 6 minutes or something like that, and then you eventually catch up. But what we do is every hour on the half hour. So 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, all throughout the day. That's called the starter time. So that's a block that's open for me to put anybody in there that we need to catch up with or anything like that. So
So you have sort of like a cushion to
every hour.
navigate
Yes.
every hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we talking about one or like a group on those
4.
every hour?
4.
So you have 4 slots every
Every hour.
hour.
Yes.
That in case
Yes.
anything happened.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Now, also with Memorial, they will not let you tee off with less than 4 people. You cannot tee off with less than
So if you show up with 3 people,
I'm going
and
to
you're
add somebody
4.
from the walk-up list.
okay, so you're just adding people. It's
Yes.
not like you're gonna delay play for that for that group. It's just that let's grab another person
Right.
from the wait list.
Right. Now, typically,
Onto-
though, yes, typically, but sometimes I've told people, hey, you know what? I'm going to let this 8:30 group go, well, let's say 8:40 group go, and hold back for me because I'm trying to get one more person to join you. I will hold people back like that. So, yeah.
How do they respond?
Usually okay.
Okay.
Usually okay.
Okay.
You have some people who are just, I don't know what their lives are like, but they're just kind of angry. They're a little fussy and this, that, and the other. But
Does playing at Memorial give people a level of expectations that if they were playing at a municipal course, they'd be more patient?
no, I think it's the opposite. At a municipal court, they'll be less patient than they are at Memorial. Because with Memorial, the rules are the rules, and you're not going to get around them.
So they already show up knowing, okay, this is Memorial.
Yes.
No one is gonna. So then on the municipal course, they'll try to bend the rules.
They'll try to bend the rules.
Okay. Okay. What's the craziest thing you've seen as a starter at Memorial?
Let me think about that. Craziest thing as a starter. Well, not really crazy, but you see people try to sneak off with 3 people, or you see people that try to go up and not pay. And so And like I
Wait,
said,
trying to get onto the course without paying?
Yeah.
Okay, how
Because-
does that work?
Now, typically, once you go inside the clubhouse, you pay. I'm right outside the clubhouse. You come to me and you show me your receipt, and I may grab it, I may not, but I'll say, what's your tea time and what's your name, because you're on there, right? And I got you, okay. But every now and then, the clubhouse will go, hey, I see 4 people on the number 1 tee, but only 3 have paid. And then so we just go out there and go, hey, we know the names. Like, we have Luke, we have Eric, we have EJ, and like, okay, who are you? I don't see that you paid. Why don't you come on back and pay, and I'll give you a ride back and pay, then we'll bring you back up. Yeah.
So has this happened like just at first tee box, or you've had to go like hole 3 or 4 to pick up someone?
It's funny. Okay, so first tee box, they were gone. They were probably on the green, and then the people from inside called me and said on the radio and said, hey, that group that just went off at 9:20, only 3 of them paid. So what we had to do was wait till they come back on the turn and then go, okay, and then make them pay.
Have people ever given any pushback about paying?
No.
Or folks are like, oh, I'm caught.
But yeah, I guess. But now that goes for me in my previous job, being a police officer.
Okay.
I just don't take nothing from nobody. So you can come at me however you want to, but no, this is what we're going to do. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So that.
What's the funniest thing you've seen on the first tee box?
Oh. Okay. So you have the people like they look like they're golfers, right? And then
Unpack that. What does it look? What does someone who look like
Okay.
a golfer look like?
they're walking. They have the push cart. They have golf pants on. They have
Okay.
decent, nice looking shoes. They're dressed
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Okay. And they just have that swag about them that they're a golfer.
Okay.
Right? And then you see them on the number 1 tee and they shank a ball like maybe 10 yards to the right. It goes nowhere.
Okay.
And you like look at him like I thought you were a golfer, but yeah. But other than that, nothing really crazy or funny. Annoying. So remember, I said we have on every 30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, we have the starters tee time, right?
Okay.
And some of the people know that, and they know that they can like come off the walk-on list then. I got these kids though; they're high schoolers, and they bug the living, whatever you want to call it, out of me. Well, I know you got those starter times. Can't you put me in one of those starter times? No, I can't put you on that. So that's it. Other than that, it's pretty normal.
Okay.
Monday.
Okay.
Pretty Monday.
So for you play golf.
Yeah.
And you see people. So you, as a starter, what are some of the things that you get away with that, as a starter, you wouldn't let someone else get away with?
Well, when it's cart path only, if it's not really wet, after the second hole, I'm on the course.
Actually, you and I played together, and I remember you telling me this one
Right.
time. You were
Yeah.
like, okay, so I know this is car bath only, but you know what? I'm not doing this today.
We're in the third hole. We ain't doing this. Yeah. Or, what we do all the time. There's 5 of us, right? Mm-hmm. And, most places don't let 5 people play. So you tee off at 3 with 3 and then tee off with 2.
Okay.
Then by the third hole, you just all join up. And then the 8th hole, you separate. Or, 9th hole, you separate again.
Yeah. I don't know why they do that, because like I can understand on the weekend, right? On the weekend it's super busy.
Right.
But if it's like a weekday when it's slow, I don't
Right.
see the big deal
Right.
with allowing 5 people if
play.
they're playing at a good pace,
And
right?
that's the key, pace of play, and that's the key. But yeah, you're right. During the week and your tee sheet's not full, why not let 5 people play?
Yeah. So if a group of 5 shows up, let's just say, what's the least busy day for you at Memorial?
Probably Wednesday morning.
Wednesday. So on a Wednesday morning, a group of 5 shows up. What do you do?
I'm not gonna let them play.
Even like
Not gonna let
there's
them play. Yeah.
nobody for the next 2 hours.
No, I'm not gonna let them play 5.
Why?
Why? Well, that's because that's the rules of the course, and I'm not gonna give up my free gig. Because of letting 5 people play. They just don't want you to. Now,
Okay.
what would I tell
Okay.
them?
Yeah.
I said, after the second hole, we don't know what you guys do.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
After the second hole, we don't know what you do. So
But how do you determine who to say that to? Because that could be trouble for you.
that is true. That is true. I just say it to anybody. It doesn't matter for me.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
you can come back and somebody will find out I told you that, and I'm always going to, be upfront and honest. And yeah, I told them that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they probably look like the jerk for even saying it. Well, that last person told me.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get the gig to be a starter?
That's interesting. I wanted to do it, networking mostly, right?
Okay.
And so November, I sent an email on the website. If you look, it said, "Come volunteer with us," and to give the email address. Her name is Julie. I
Okay.
sent Julie an email, and no reply. December, I sent another email, and no reply. I said, "I don't know what's going on." But one day in January, I was sitting on the couch, and I was like, "I'm going up there." So I just drove up to the course and said, "Hey, I'd like to be a marshal." I asked to be a marshal. And the guy, Ray, who was kind of like the second in command there, he looked at me, he said, "I don't want you as a marshal, I want you as a starter." He said, you could help us better as a starter. Thank you so much. He's like, "I want you as a starter." He said, "As a marshal, you'll get bored out there. You'll drive around the course twice and it's nothing to do." I said, "Okay."
Okay.
And they put me to work right then.
Do you have to live also? I mean, at Memorial, there's a requirement for you to live within
Houston.
Harris County
Harris
or
County,
Houston?
Houston city limits. Because remember,
Okay.
Harris County is probably bigger than Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be within Harris County in order to live to volunteer.
No, to play for $38 during the week.
So
No,
if I volunteer wherever I live,
You
if
can
I
volunteer for
volunteer, but as a volunteer, do I also get the perks of playing for
Yes.
$38?
well, no, because you play for free.
So as a volunteer, I can volunteer no matter where I live within Houston,
And play for free.
and then I play for free.
Yes, sir.
Is there a minimum?
When I volunteered, when I started, they said, "What day do you want?" I said, "How about Saturday morning?" His eyes lit up. He's like, "Okay." Because Saturday morning, no one wants to volunteer.
Okay,
Because everyone
okay.
wants to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just pick a day or a day that they have open. And, for the marshals and the starters, there's an AM and a PM. 7:30 to now it's going to be 1:30 because
Okay.
of change of time.
Yeah.
And then from 1:30 till 5 or 6.
Okay. How do they select where to put the pin?
That I don't know. You mean for the PGA?
No, I mean, if you're working there, have you ever seen how do they determine? Do they talk about how do they determine where pin placement
Now, see,
is going to be?
That I don't know, Luke. I'm
Okay.
going to find out because even when I'm sitting there on the practice green,
Yeah.
you got the guy changing the holes.
Yeah.
So I want to find out from them what's your mindset, what's your thought. Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to know whether it's arbitrary. Someone just decided, you know what, it makes sense. Let's just
Just
put it there.
here. Right.
Yeah.
Or is there a science behind it?
Have you ever had to reprimand someone?
Yeah, not reprimand, but kind of like steer them in the right direction. I'll call it like that.
Okay.
Because my computer, and I'm just at a table,
Okay.
and they'll come behind me and look at my sheet and stuff. And I just close it and like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Because they're like, "Well, when can I get off?" I just close it. "What are you doing?" All right. It's like, "Can you move?" So yeah.
Right. Okay.
Never had to really reprimand anybody. Like I said, most people, because they know it's a public course, not because it's a public course, but because they know the rules of the course, and they will ask you not to come back. Or they will tell you can't come back. So they don't want that.
At what point do they say that? Like the beginning or the end?
At the end, it has to be something really egregious. Like,
Have you experienced seeing someone
no. Don't
being
off the
told
course.
don't come back?
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
But have you heard stories of people being told?
Actually, when I talk to people, the people I've talked to said it's happened actually maybe twice that they know of. So it takes a lot to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now, what I have done, let's say your tee time's at 8:15. It's 8 o'clock. I don't see you. You hadn't paid. You hadn't checked in because you go from green to blue on my computer.
Oh, so as soon as someone pays, you see that automatically.
Yes.
Okay.
So you haven't paid. You haven't checked in, or 3 of your guys are here, but one's not. I always tell people, I will wait till about 5 minutes before tea time. After that, I'm replacing them. And
Are you replacing the whole group or just the person missing? Okay. Okay.
now, let's say the group goes, well, hey, we don't want to go out without our guy. I said, okay, I'll just keep pushing you down until your guy gets here.
Okay. Okay.
Now, I've done that before, and apparently not many people do that. But I don't play. I mean, because I have literally 30 to 50 people waiting to get on the course. And so if you're late and your friends can't get a hold of you, and the rodeo was in town, and the trail ride was at Memorial Park.
Okay.
And so traffic was bad. People were late. That was the day I told people, hey, you get a little grace, wait till your friend gets here, let me know when they're coming,
Okay.
and we'll get you guys going, as soon as you guys get here.
Okay.
But other than that, 5 minutes till, I'm replacing you.
And people, I guess I would imagine people would have to understand, right?
Right. And let me be clear, it's not that arbitrary or not that strict. I'm replacing you like you're telling me, hey, I hadn't heard from Phil at all. Because I'll ask him, where's your fourth? I don't know, I hadn't heard from him. I said, all right. Or they're on their way, they're 15 minutes away. I was like, tell them in 5 minutes I'm replacing. Or I'll go, if we know they're coming, all right, we'll send you guys off and we'll get your fourth out there too.
Okay.
Because, most of the people walk in the area. And so we'll just throw them in a cart and drop them out to the
Okay. What about the bad people? How do you manage?
The bad people, I just kind of deal with. I mean, I'm that type of person where, your attitude is not going to sway me.
Okay.
I understand you may be having a bad day, and when I was a police officer, one thing I used to love saying when people said something like off or a little rude, I just look at them and go, did you mean to say that to me? Stops people in their tracks. Or I would look at them and go, I really don't like what you just said to me. Stops people in their tracks. So,
You know what's interesting about those two statements is that they're honest, and I don't know that people often expect honesty. When they're being rude.
they expect you to just take it.
Right, or to push back, to say something equally as rude to them.
Right.
So now they're in their wheelbarrow. Now they can go back and forth with you. But when you're honest and say, is this really what you wanted to say? It's almost like you're giving them like a conscious check.
Right, exactly.
Are you comfortable with this being what comes out of your mouth? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, that and also like, are you okay? And when I say you look them right in their eyes, are you okay? Or the last one I do is that I go is, thank you for your thoughts. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's it. So.
Yeah.
But no, as far as the golf course, no, because everyone's afraid that you're going to not let them play. So they're kind of on their behavior. Because as a starter, you can kind of, you really don't have a whole lot of power. I'm not going to pretend that at all. But you can kind of go, no. You know, like, your fourth isn't here. No, I'm not sending you off.
Right, yeah.
So,
And it's based on you just enforcing the rule. You're not creating something.
I'm not creating it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I really wish, and we laugh, me and the other starter. It's not like, the Clear Creeks or anything. You just sit there and give me your receipt. I'm going to move. You walk to me, bring me your receipt.
Yeah.
No, I have to. There are people, like I said, they get there an hour before the doors open to sign up for the list.
Okay.
And they're serious about playing.
Yeah.
And they will wait 3 or 4 hours before they can even get out.
Man, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing this with me.
You're welcome.
Because I think, like, a lot of times, or at least I'm trying to understand again better, there are things that goes in the background, like checking in and all that stuff that I don't understand. And I think understanding these things help you. It adds value, right? Both to what the person is doing, but also to how you approach it as well.
Right. Okay.
Right. So being on time now is definitely going to have a different meaning to me.
Right.
Because not that I didn't understand the whole idea of like congestion. If I'm not on time, then I'm slowing down someone. But just to hear all the work that goes into it,
Yeah.
that does make a difference.
It does
Yeah.
make a difference.
Yeah.
Because that guy that gets there, 5 minutes before your tee time. Well, another thing about that golf course, parking is really at a premium. You pay for parking out there, but it's not a very big parking lot.
Okay.
And so people have to park across the street, down the way a little bit. So you're 10 minutes before your tee time, you have to park, maybe a quarter mile down the road. And so you got to bring everything up or drop it off, park, and then come back.
Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk More Action Golf podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. A big shout out to our producer and creative director, Ajane Josepha, for bringing the show to life. And a special thank you to Sid Mack for our fantastic music. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite platform. Follow us on social media for the latest update and exclusive content at Let's Talk More Action Golf. I'm your host, Luke Josepha. Until next time, keep swinging easy, and remember, let's talk more action golf.
Life's a maze, keep your head high when you going through it. I saw dead bodies licking the eyes of the living, held back as you held back from making bigger decisions. We get lost, but this journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given. That's a given. We get lost, but the journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given.
Let's talk more action golf.